Okay, this is part 3, and this one I give you some tips for enhancing basal instruction. First of all, big picture. Again, the purpose of reading instruction is to help children read and enjoy stories, and to be able to read and get information from expository text. That is the purpose. Everything we do should support that purpose. If it doesn't support that purpose, don't do it. The business of reading class is not dividing words into syllables, not finding the schwa sound, but reading practice. So, to enhance basal instruction, if you're using a basal, and again, a basal is as good or as not good as the teacher using it. Good teachers can use basals effectively, although I think a reading workshop approach or a self-selected approach is much more effective for making reading happen and for meeting the needs of students at a variety of levels. It is the ideal multi-level inclusive strategy. Off on a tangent. Number 1, leave room for enjoying real books, real articles. The stories in the basals are not real, so make sure students still get to read real books that they enjoy. Worksheets are fine. Use them as a learning tool. Use them judiciously. They can be used or misused. You do not have to do every worksheet just because it's in the package. And I find it most effective to have students use worksheets and work in pairs with other students. That way they get to hear the thoughts of other students. Remember, the goal of reading, the goal of teaching is not measuring our students and getting grades. The goal is learning. What enhances learning best? Doing a worksheet by yourself to see what kind of score you get, or working with a pair, hearing the thoughts of others. There's a time and place to do it by yourself, but also use it with others. Number 3, keep skills instruction brief and quickly paced. Any skill is learned over time by exposure. They don't learn it the first time, so don't spend too much time on any skill instruction. Remember, the purpose of reading is to read. Nancy Atwell says 70-80% of reading class should be spent having students engaged in real reading, while only 20-30% should be in skills instruction. Sadly, I would posit that we have those turned around. We give students 70-80% of just skills instruction and workbooks and seat work, and then maybe if they have time, they get 20-30% skills instruction. Reading a book is not something to be done when your work is done. Reading a book is your work. That should be first and foremost. In my day, when students got done with their seat work, their important seat work that must be graded, we said, okay, read a book. What if we started with, okay, read a book? Not reading class, but reading practice. Enjoy the story first. When you're using the stories in the basal, that is your number 1 job. If we can help children fall in love with books, everything else is easy. We don't want to get in the way of this enjoyment. So enjoying the story is the primary function, whether it's in a basal or in a book. Number 7, use an aesthetic response to literature. This means don't interrogate your students, ask them story details, find activities, and use questions for which you do not have the answer. Higher level thinking skills. Use your Sternbergs, your Gardners, and these other things to create your own activities. Think about the conversations and the activities you'd like to have around a great book that you've read or a movie that you've seen. These are the kinds of things that you should be doing as post-reading activities. All right, these are some real simple tips for enhancing basal instruction.